Welcome to the Temple of Surf, the podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to share something close to my heart. We just launched the Temple of Surf apparel line. T-shirt, hoodies, caps and more, all inspired by the spirit of surfing and the stories we celebrate here. And if you have little ones who love the ocean, don't miss out our children book series available now on Amazon. Fun adventure about surfing, friendship and the sea. By supporting the books and apparel, you're also supporting the podcast and helping us to keep the surf culture alive for future generations. Mahalo! Welcome to a brand new episode of the Temple of Surf, the podcast. Today, we are honored to welcome a truly unique guest, surfboard builder and innovator, Job Verpoorte, founder of Jabali Surfboards. In a world dominated by mass production and disposable equipment, Job chose a completely different path, one built around craftsmanship, sustainability, performance, and a deep respect for the soul of surfing itself. From his workshop in Portugal, Job creates stunning wooden surfboards that are not only beautiful objects, but real performance machines designed to be surfed in serious waves. His works reconnects modern surfing with its ancient roots while pushing surfboard design into the future through engineering, creativity, and environmental consciousness. In this episode, we discuss the origin of Jabali Surfboards, the challenges and advantages of wooden board construction, sustainability in modern surfing, craftsmanship, performance, and the emotional connection surfers develop with the boards they ride. This is not just a conversation about surfboard, it's a conversation about philosophy, design, passion, and the idea that surfing can still be deeply personal in an increasing industrial world. Please enjoy this inspiring conversation with Job Verpoorte of Jabali Surfboards. Good afternoon, Job. Welcome to the show. Where are you today?
Good afternoon, Alessandro. I'm in Portugal. I'm in the north of Portugal, in Minho.
Wow. How is Portugal now? It's like winter time going to spring, actually almost spring. How are the waves?
Spring is arriving, and we had a lot of rain during the winter period. I'm from the Netherlands, and there are no tough winters in the Netherlands either, but Portugal is always warm for me. And we had quite a few storms. There's big swell arriving, so it's a bit too big for me. It's a bit wild.
Okay. Okay, but usually if the storm arrives, the waves are coming as well and people get stuck, no?
Yeah, but this is the Atlantic. It's, I think what I just saw was 3 meter swell.
Okay.
And 3 meter swell is bigger waves. I mean, that's
okay, we'll leave it
too much for me.
Okay. We'll leave it to the other guys, that
Sure.
They will enjoy those waves. And, like every time I talk with people that live in Portugal or they are Portuguese, we always talk about that today Portugal is the last place in Europe where effectively there are a WSL tournament like Super Tubos.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they quit France, right?
Yeah, the more France.
A while ago.
Portugal remain the latest, let's say, part of the empire, the European empire, of competitions, and it's a bit sad, frankly speaking, because there were like competition like the Job Pro that were very, very famous in Europe, and nowadays there is only Portugal. So good for you guys, because you will enjoy still a lot of pro surfer coming to your shores, but it's great for the country Portugal. Of course, you have those huge waves of Nazaré, right?
That's a big thing nowadays. Yeah, you have Nazaré, you have the Peniche, the Super Tubos, but there are good waves everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's good for the how do you call it, the tourism of Portugal to know that, there are so many waves of different size where people, and so.
Yeah. Well, most people tend to go to Peniche, Ericeira, or the south to Sagres, and there is a lot of surf tourism there.
Yeah.
For the good and for the bad, I mean, I suppose for people who want to make a bit of money, it's fine. For me, trying to sell boards, it's also fine. But if you want to go surf, it's busy. especially in summer.
Of course.
And then it's less good. Then it's less good.
Where is not busy? That's the question, because it's busy everywhere in the world. Maybe some China, maybe it's empty. I don't know.
Maybe some places in Asia and maybe some cold places.
Yeah,
if you're willing to put on your 7 millimeters of neoprene and go surf, I think you'll be happy to have 3-4 people in the water with you.
Yeah, there is natural selection provided by the cold waters. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, today we'll talk about shaping surfboards with you, but not like traditional surfboards, so not made of foam, but made of wood, right? So
yeah, or actually very traditional, depends on which perspective you take, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just mentioned Tom Pohaku, and he does the real traditional board shaping.
Yes.
Making his alayas and whatnot, and that's just a piece of wood that he cuts out and shapes the rails, and he actually manages to surf it. It's very difficult to surf, right? So I think those are the roots, and yeah, I make hollow wooden boards. So you have all kind of wooden boards, and the traditional ones are the solid ones. And I use a method called, I don't know if you've heard of him, Paul Jensen. He's a gentleman. He sort of came up with the method at the end of the last century, so around 2000. And he sort of went the hollow board. So he basically took what Tom Blake did.
Yes.
100 years ago. But at the time, there was no fiberglass, there was no epoxy, there was no polyurethane glues. So they were using screws and God knows what, some oils to put everything together and make it waterproof, right? Yeah. And he sort of revisited it. There were some other guys doing it as well, but I think for me, Paul Jensen is the main character in this. Oh. And he came up with a new method of making, or a modern method of making hollow boards.
Okay.
And I built my first board like that. And then, of course, I'm an engineer and I like tinkering with these things. Otherwise, you don't start doing this. So I said, I can improve this. I can do this better.
Okay, that's cool.
So that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Great. So before going more in details about wooden surfboards, I would like to ask the first question that I ask everyone on the show. In your opinion, what is the most important thing in surf?
The most important thing for me, I would say the magic word is balance. And balance is, of course, a very vague word. I mean, you need it to just stay on the board, of course. But it's also, what I find is if I go surfing, it sort of brings a peace and quiet. And if I'm in the water and surfing, I'm just focusing on the moment. And it's also what you need to actually properly surf. I mean, if you go into the water with all this head full of crap and it stays there, then your surf session normally is not great, right? If you don't manage to get it out. So I would say that's part of the balance. And the other balance for me is that it is about fun, because I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, fun. And obviously it's about fun as well. But I don't think it's only about fun. I think it's also about being comfortable and not comfortable, trying to push yourself, learning, improving yourself. And that's not always fun. In hindsight, it's fun, but while you're doing it and getting trashed or hitting your head on something, then it's less fun. So I think the magic word is balance.
Sure. Balance is a good answer. I like that. Like in everything there should be balance in life. Yin and yang. Is that philosophy of finding the perfect spot, the sweet spot, even in surfing, you need to have that spot that is like far from the bottom and not too much close to the top. And that's balance in a certain way, So obviously some people, they will tell you like, I want to surf all day, I don't care about the balance, but then in the night you need to find the sleep to have more energy to come with it. So it's a balance. The balance is what rules our life, the balance between night and day, the balance of everything. So yes, I totally agree with you. It's a good philosophy, like
okay.
point.
I'm glad we agree.
Yeah. And let's talk about you as a surfer before.
Yeah.
What you like to surf, and of course you will reply to me wooden surfboards.
Oh no, I'll keep it more. I'll keep it more general. You can't see, but I'm actually quite a big guy. I'm quite tall, and I surf big boards. So mainly I surf longboards. Sometimes a bit smaller, but never a very short board. If I sit on a 30-liter board, I just sink to the bottom of the ocean. It doesn't really work for me.
So we have two, because me, I'm like 1.9 meter for 100 kilos. So it's
There you go. I'm similar. I'm a bit lighter than you, luckily now, but yeah, I was something like that. I just finished a 10-footer.
Oh,
yeah. Like a glider, a single fin glider. So I'm waiting for the waves to calm down a little bit, and then I go check it out.
Yeah, of course. And until today, what was the best wave of your life?
Oh man, my best wave is mainly when I'm just with friends and there are not too many people in the water, and you're having a good time, and that can really be anywhere. I haven't traveled a lot. I surf in Europe. So I had good waves in the Netherlands, I had good waves in Belgium, I had good waves in France. So Spain, Portugal, of course. I think my last really good session was in Brittany, in Bretagne, in the north of France. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was great. Yeah.
But in Netherlands, there is surf. There is good surf.
Yeah.
Oh,
are you going to start now as well? Yeah, there is a sea, the North Sea.
I'm totally ignorant of Netherlands surf. So I'm not putting in discussion the fact that there is surf or not, but I don't know what to expect. Is something good?
It's not amazing, but you surf what you get, right? So you have the North Sea there. If you have a swell arriving from the northeast, from like Iceland, Norway, if there's a storm over there, it enters the North Sea. It's soft waves. You get 7 seconds, I think, at most. You have to wait for the semi-high tide for the waves to push through the sandbanks. I think you can compare it with surfing in the Mediterranean.
Okay.
I mean, it's not amazing.
Okay.
It can be good, but most of the times it's quite specific. I think the Mediterranean is a bit warmer, of course, but you need to know when to be where. I mean, it's normally a window of 3-4 hours that you can surf, and then it's gone again.
Okay. Well, I think we need to do this thing of me watching YouTube videos about Netherlands, and maybe you do the same for Italy. Because, as a Mediterranean, we have Sardinia that is pumping.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
We have Liguria that is pumping. And then, of course, there is other kind of South Mediterranean is more like different. But even Rome and that area, there are like very good ways. So not, of course, the Hawaiian one, but we defend ourselves. So anyway, this is our homework after the podcast. And anyway, for whoever listens to us and wants to...
Well, there are some Dutch surfers, and if the swell is right and the direction is right, you can actually ride small tubes, Yeah, they have to crouch, but they ride small tubes. Yeah. And I follow some Italian surfers. What is it? Philippe Orso, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a guy, like a big, hairy, darker guy, Mario or something. I forgot his name. Everybody knows Fioravanti, but he lives in Hawaii or something. I don't think he really surfs in Italy.
I'm glad that you follow some Italian people. It's okay. It's rewarding from an Italian perspective, like me, So.
Yeah, I don't know how I got to know them. I think I saw the Mario. I don't know him. I think I saw him in France once, and I thought, like, who is this guy? And then I came across him on some Instagram little film, and go like, I met that guy, or I saw him surf. Yeah.
Okay. So the best wave is when you're surfing with friend and there is not so much people in the water.
And yeah, it's like, for me, a good wave is whatever, chest high, clean, not too many people, so you don't have to worry about people dropping in or you dropping in or someone. Just enjoy it. Cheer at your friends, enjoy what they do. Yeah.
So
That's the best.
going on the wooden surfboards, of course, you told us, okay, where you come from, the idea, the fact that you are an engineer and you, by nature, you want to perfect the things, which is great. And so all your boards are hollow, or okay, so there is like this structure within.
Yes.
How does it work for whoever is thinking?
How do you explain this best? It's basically like a skeleton, like we have in our body with the spine and ribs, and you wrap a skin around it, a skin of wood, and I use 4, 5, 6 millimeters of wood, depends a bit. But you wrap around the skeleton. It's like an airplane wing, but most people probably don't know how an airplane wing looks. It looks the same. So it's not totally empty inside, but it has a skeleton to give it a shape. And it has a thin layer of wood around it. And I work with balsa wood, which is a very light wood. You can also, in the past, people have worked also with cedro, but that's cedar wood, but it's heavier. Paulownia is very popular nowadays, but it's also a little bit heavier. So I work mainly with balsa wood, and then I glass it, just like a normal surfboard. Okay. I use epoxy for that.
Okay. And
is that clear, Trout? By the way, are you an engineer too?
Huh?
Are you an engineer too?
I'm an engineer now.
Oh, okay. No, because sometimes when you tell these things, for me, it's so clear that I don't know how to explain.
No, well, of course, because like everybody, I think, not everybody, but, like let's say, average man on the street, like they say in Italy, they think about a wooden surfboard, they might have this idea of something super heavy, solid wood, super thick. That if it's in your head, most probably it's gonna kill you more than like a normal surfboard. Something unpractical, something that might sink, something that all these kind of myth of wooden surfboard that may come from the imagination. But a wooden surfboard is totally different than that, right? Because
well, it depends. You have so many people making different kinds of boards. So, like I mentioned, Tompohaku makes solid boards, and I think they're quite heavy. He uses a lighter wood like cedro and a Hawaiian variant of balsa wood. So they're all super heavy, but they're quite heavy. I have friends, they put foam in the board. Do you remember the Firewire timber decks?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And they took that. So that's basically a foam core with a layer of wood around it and a bit of fiberglass. And they've taken that concept and sort of perfected that and even moved away from laminating with glass and resin. So that's it's a wooden board, or at least on the outside, but it's a totally different thing. And the boards I make, they're called hollow wooden boards, and they're hollow with the frame inside. And these boards can be anything, how heavy is your board? Do you know?
I don't know, actually. It's pretty heavy because I use longboard 9.2.
Yeah.
But
so that's what, 7, 8 kilos? Or is it a classic one, like 10, 12 kilos?
It's a classic, but I think it's more like a 10-ish, but it's until
but it's
don't get it in my head, I will never know how much is weight on the real weight.
No, but that's the thing, right? So if I make a longboard, making a longboard as a hollow construction and making it relatively light is quite simple. So I made a longboard for my girlfriend, and I was tired of bringing the board to the beach every time. And it's a longboard of 5.5 kilos. She can carry it herself, and she has a handle because she's quite small. So she has a handle in the board, and she can carry it to the beach herself. But some people want to have a board of 8 kilos or 10 kilos, and then you can do that,
Okay.
And I've built a gun. It's a small gun. It's like 8.6 for Tony, a friend of mine. He's an old school, hardcore, big wave surfer. And the 8.6 is too light He doesn't mind, but he sort of has a 7 foot and an 8 foot and a 9 foot and a 10 foot and an 11 and a 12. And those are, most of them are in polyurethane with polyester and fiberglass. And those boards, we plotted them. We're being a bit technical about it, right? So we plotted them because you said, okay, well, the 8.6 is a bit light, and it's sort of 1 kilogram lighter than a polyurethane board.
Okay.
Like a standard board. And he says, well, if it's a bumpy day, I would like my board a bit heavier, but if it's a clean day, I love the lighter board. So it's really what you want. So
yeah, I see.
And then if you go to shortboards, where normally the difficulties of making a light board, but nowadays there are so many different ways of doing it, and I can also make a light board of whatever 2.5 kilograms. I mean, that's for a shortboard is very light. Normally, what you buy in the shop is 3 kilos.
Okay, well, it's a first myth that we unfold, right? Because the first myth actually was the surfing in Netherlands. Second is
Sure.
wooden. Then is wooden surfboard. But in effect, yes, I think that's what many people will be kind of surprised to hear.
Absolutely. It's a message. Me and my friends who make wooden boards, we need to sort of propagate that continuously. But it's there are great viable alternatives, and it's really getting the message out there, letting people try and see if they like it enough. Obviously there are differences. There are differences with flex.
Yeah.
But again, those are things that really depends on what you want, and then we can build it the way you want. It's fine.
And how resistant are these boards compared to the normal boards that we buy in the?
They're way stronger. I mean, you sit on a wooden chair at home, right? Not on a foam chair. So
yeah.
No, but basically, never say never. You can break everything, right? But wooden boards, they don't snap. And of course, if you go surf Super 2 board, super heavy, or a Nazare, I'm sure you can destroy a board. You can destroy anything.
Sure.
But for a normal surfer in normal waves, so far, I haven't had any board snap. And I know of my friends that nobody has snaps. Of course, you can have a little ding. Okay, well, then you have a little ding, you fix it, just like another board, It's just you use wood instead of foam. Okay.
It's okay.
And the other thing is actually also great because the wood is a bit harder, so you also don't have heel dents or knee dents or leaf creases because the wood is just strong. So you clean your board after 3-4 years, and it still looks like it's new. I mean, you take the wax off, it's fine. There are no dents.
Hi, we'll get back to the conversation in just a moment, but I would like to remind you that the Temple of Surf is more than a podcast. We created an apparel line inspired by surf culture, from tees and hoodies to caps, so you can carry the spirit of the ocean wherever you go. And if you have kids, check out our surf-inspired children book series on Amazon, fun stories that bring the magic of the sea to life for young readers. By supporting these projects, you're helping us keep surf culture alive and growing. Now, let's get back to the show. The point, if you call it another myth, is the fact that thinking about a hollow structure, the fact that maybe you think is less resistant and maybe easier to crack, while you're saying totally the opposite. It's like because of the hollow structure, maybe there is more elasticity or more capability to absorb than just like if it was full.
I think, I understand what you're saying. I don't think that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
I think what it is, I mean, if you take a foam board, foam inside, if you look at hardness, if you look at breakage strength, snap strength, foam doesn't have any strength. So all the strength is in the fiberglass, right? You have your torsion. It's called a torsion box. It's basically you create the distance between two strong layers, and that's where the strength is. And if you use a wood as a hollow wooden construction, and you have this shell, which eyeglass in the inside and in the outside. You sort of get a triple sandwich because the decks are already stronger. And then you have the top deck and the bottom deck, which is also glassed. So the shell around the core of the board, which in my case is nothing, is a lot stronger than just a layer or 2 layers of fiberglass. And I think that's where the real strength is of wooden boards.
Okay, thank you for sharing. In effect, I was thinking like, if in order to shape a wooden board, you need to be an engineer. It's like there is so much to put into it, right?
It's a bit complicated. I do it because it's difficult, and I like to do difficult things. And when I started building these boards, I also thought like, oh, these boards are heavy. And then I thought, I'm just going to try to make a very light one. So it took me 10 years to actually make the boards which are lighter than foam, right? And that takes a lot of engineering. But again, there are so many variants. You have this, I don't know if you've seen this, you have agave blanks nowadays on the market.
Yes.
Yeah. This guy, I forgot his name. There's a guy in Kenya, I think, who works with a big agave farm, and they harvest the stems of the agave plant, the flower, and they select them and they glue them together, and then they cut them to blanks, and that's what they ship. So we have a German guy, Adrian, here in Spain, and he distributes them for Europe. And he just released, he works with different shapers. One of the shapers here, Nico, Wave Gliders is the brand. He works in Ericeira, and he took one of these blanks. And he shapes it just like a normal PU blank, Of course, it's a little bit different, but it's the same machine. Or you can put it in a robot computer and just have it cut. I mean, it's that doesn't really require skill or not skill, or you need to know how to work the robot. But that's not a new technique that you really need to know. If you go back to hollow structures and you want to improve that, yeah, sure, that's a skill.
I see. And a wooden surfboard, because the way it's manufactured, does it cost much more than a normal one?
Yes. Well, what is a much more? Yeah, it costs more. Of course. I mean, there have been some guys who have been trying to sort of automate this process, but I don't. And I think the general question, when I listen to your podcast, I hear a lot of shapers say, listen, if you want to make money, don't become a shaper.
Yes.
It's so, and I have to confirm that. And I think the other question you have to ask if you want to make surfboards, right? If you want to become a shaper, is, are you gonna be an artist or are you gonna be a producer, right? And if you're a producer, you will have to run a factory, and you have to focus on efficiency, and you have to focus on cost of materials. And you will find your balance in that, and you can go for higher quality or lower quality. But I think, well, we all know that surfboards are, some people say they're expensive, but they're actually ridiculously cheap, and there is not a lot of money to be made in the surf industry. I think if you decide to be an artist, okay, well then you can ask a bit more, because you make custom boards, right? Yeah. And you do a nice resin paint, or you do a special shape, or I do a special whatever tail shape for you, or a special belly roll, God knows what, and that takes time. So yeah, and a wooden surfboard, I don't know exactly, but I think a good shaper, like a good hand shaper, they can shape a board in 2 hours, maybe 3, and then have it glassed by a couple of guys and install the fin box. So let's say maybe a day production time. I mean, for me to to select a wooden beam and cut that into planks and then flatten it and thicken it, that takes me about a day. And then I have to start, I make about 100 pieces, 100 pieces of wood, and I have to glue this all together. And then cut it to the right size, and I have to cut the ribs, and I have to cut the right angles, and then I started gluing it together. So for me to build a blank, I just before we started talking, I'm building a blank at the moment. That takes me like 40 hours.
Wow. But then there is the limitation of course, somebody understands your craft and appreciates your craft,
yeah,
willing to pay premium to compensate all those work. But then there is also, let's say, the normal client that goes and see like your boards at I don't know, X 3 times more expensive than the normal board that he can find at a surf shop.
Sure.
Then that becomes a limitation because, of course, you are limited by the number of boards you produce per year because you are limited by the time. And but also, in a certain way, will never allow. Maybe I'm wrong saying that, but will never allow wooden surfboards to have a breakthrough, in the sense that it will be always super expensive compared to a normal board. It will be always taking much more time than a normal board. And even if tomorrow everyone wants to have a wooden surfboard, that will not be an easy thing to get, right? Because it takes a...
There's a limitation, and I'm fine with it. I say, okay, I want to be an artist. I want to make boards for people who value the art and the craft and who want to have something special, right? And that's my choice. The boards, I would say, I'm selling them still a bit too cheap, but yeah, there is the market forces, right? So my boards are about 1.5 to 2 times more expensive than what you pay for a board in a regular board in the shop.
Okay.
But that is not because of that they're not worth more. It's just because you need to also sell your stuff, right? And there is a tension, like you say. I don't know. For me, the question of mass producing these boards, I'm sure it can be done, but then you have to sort of limit your customization. And you have to say, okay, we have model whatever standard shortboard, fish, some whatever fun board, mid-size, and a 9-foot longboard, and this is what you can get. Yeah. And then I can pre-cut the wood and set up my rocker beds and streamline my process. And it's not going to be half a day or 4 hours to shape a board. It's still going to be more, but it's going to be a lot more efficient. And then as for the price, I mean, a wooden board lasts forever, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have a board, I don't know, it's always a discussion, but an average shortboard, if somebody surfs intensively is a year, maybe, probably less.
Yes.
A longboard will last more time. Some longboards in foam, they last forever, of course, as well. But I mean, yeah, if you surf 10 or 20 years on a board, then it costs you 2,000 or 3,000 euros. Is that then expensive?
Yeah.
For some people it is, for some people it's not.
No, of course. There's relative. I wanted to ask you something regarding the best board that you shaped until now in wood. What was that? Was it like a special order, something like crazy request that you received, or something, I don't know, that impressed you?
I think the best board I've done so far, and that's purely because Tom Wegener, you might have heard of him. He loved the board.
It's in the podcast as well.
Oh, yeah, the podcast as well. Oh, gee, I didn't see those. I need to check.
You need to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I will. He's quite a character. I like him. He's good. And it's the longboard that I made for my girl. I mean, I put a lot of soul and love in that, of course. And Tim looked at it and said, oh, wow, this is a beautiful classic longboard, And just because I said it's so custom, it has a beautiful rounded belly, beautiful rails. It has nice paulownia wood on the top. It has some textile cloth inlays on it. It has a handle. It's light. It has a nice flex or response, if you want to call it like that. And I made it stringerless, so it has a peripheral stringer. So basically, there's wood around, so that it responds a bit different. And I work with cork, and cork doesn't add any stiffness or anything. So there's a nice response, and I think that's the best board, or one of the best boards I've built so far.
There is this thing, like every boards carries the shaper energy, right? And of course, it is machine made, no? But maybe
It's still being brushed by a hand.
But for instance, like I've seen a documentary of Tom Stone, of course, fan of the boards, the ceremonial aspect of it, the ancestral aspect of it, with the old poems. Tom Wegener as well, it's like the passion that is put on and also, if you want to say, all the shapers that hand shape all around the world, they put their own energy into that. But
Absolutely.
I always found myself that wooden surfboards, they have something magical into them, because of course they're rare. They're not everyone does them. It requires a lot of commitment. It requires, like you said, like 40 hours rather than 8 hours, let's say. And for me, it's always been fascinating, to be able to ride the energy of the shaper, And I don't know if do you feel like in your, let's say, production, in the boards that you shape, that each one of them has part of your energy?
Yes. Let me first say I'm a very rational guy. So
okay, engineer, I know.
Yes, I'm a very rational guy. But actually, I met Tom Pohako. He came to Belgium, and I met him.
Oh.
And he bought 2 blanks, and we had a chat, and we had lunch, and he invited to help shaping. And what he explained, he had a lot of planers, little hand planers with him, and he let everybody plane the board and shape the rails. And he said, I'll fix it at night. It's fine. And he said, you know why I'm doing this? Because if I have 100 people shaping and enjoying contributing to shaping this board will have so much mana and so much power in this. Yeah. That was his reason. I mean, Tom Pohako, I think, is really into that. That's his belief. That's his culture. I have that less, but I think, yes, of course, in every board, every maker puts his energy in it. And I mean, in my boards also go pieces of nail, some blood, some tears, some sweat. It's all in there. It's all in there.
DNA inside.
My DNA is in there. If you carefully dissect it, I'm sure you'll find something. And yes, of course. And then when you've finished the board and you did your final wet sand, and then I put it away, and the first 1 or 2 days I see the mistakes, because I'm somebody who says, this could have done better, and this piece of wood is not super connected, and and here whatever. There are always mistakes. I mean, even a Bob McTavish at 80, I think he still finds a mistake if he hand shapes a board. Anyways, but then afterwards,
mistakes, they make it real,
I think so. Yeah, it gives a character, right?
Totally. You asked me a perfect board, machine shape, and not a perfect, but with some little defects and shape. Always like the hand shape one, because it's real. You know what I mean? It's like something that somebody has done. A human, actually, not real. It's human. We as human, we're not.
I think so. Yeah.
We are.
No, of course not. No, we're very imperfect, but it's fine. We'll have to deal with that.
It's a representation of ourselves.
Yeah. So yes, I think there is. I was telling, after these couple of days, then I'm happy with the board and I'm ready to hand it over. And then if you give it to your client or to the surfer, and they're always happy to get a new board, who isn't? And then they go surf it and they come back and they tell you oh, it's fantastic, it's this or that, They're always enthusiastic. So that's beautiful, and that's what you do it for. Right. So yeah, and then you've handed over your work. Yeah.
Great.
After time. Yeah.
And your boards are only commercialized in Portugal, or you have a client?
No, well, I've set up shop in the Netherlands, Belgium, and now in Portugal. And I basically build for Europe.
Okay.
I mean, there are so many good wooden board builders. They're friends of mine. If you want to have a board in Australia or in the US, I'm happy to refer you to, go to Tom Wegener in Australia or to Graham Newby and get your board there. I mean, why would unless you really want my board, okay, and then you pay the €1,000 transport cost. But I mean, is that really what you need?
I see what you mean. What is the most important thing in shaping surfboards, in your opinion?
Ooh, I think it's what is important for me is that you develop yourself and you always try to improve. Right? You make a board and the next one you try to make better. And of course you lapse back a little bit or you make the same mistake that you made five boards ago. But I think if you're aware of that, you can sort of phase those little mistakes and make better boards all the time. I think that's super important.
Oh, of course.
And another thing obviously is to see what other people are doing. I mean, see how they build, get ideas from them, just store it in your mind. And you don't have to do the same, but you can use whatever their knowledge is for your own builds. I think that's also very important.
No, definitely. I agree with you. Are you working on some specific project, unusual project these days, or is business as usual for you?
It's never business as usual. I just finished the 10-footer. I'm making now half of that, like a 5-footer.
Okay.
And it's a shape that I'm doing with Grant Newby. He's one of the fathers of the Firewire Timber Tech. I don't know. Did you talk to him as well?
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay. Should definitely be an interesting guy. And he has a very funky design in his boards. It has a heavy concave, heavy V, and it's a triplane.
Okay.
So that's sort of three. Well, you know what a triplane is, right? So and you can imagine that making a triplane is already difficult enough, but making a triplane as a hollow wooden structure is very difficult. And I was lucky enough to meet Mike LaVecchia. He's the guy behind Grain Surfboards. He's like an icon of the wooden board makers. And he came. We met him in October last year at the wooden board meet, and he brought a little belly board with lots of concaves in it and a triplane, and he showed a little bit how to do it. And I go like, this is one of those moments like you store that information and you go like, okay, Mike, thank you for this input. And now I can do it myself. Or I can do it myself, but I use that to create what I'm creating now. So that's what I'm working on now.
Right. I see that in your way of doing things is always like trying to improve and get better and and with the complexity, it's not just like a standard board. It's like how to add complexity, and that's actually is a technical challenge for you at a certain point, almost, I would say.
Yes, yeah, I think you read me well. So for me, okay, I've built very light boards. I've done ridiculous concaves now with triplane, which I'm doing now. It's going okay. It's going well enough. I mean, I'm in a phase that I see the mistakes, but that's okay. And then the next thing is to sort of really find a way to deal with the flex and make flex really a variable that I can control fully. And then if somebody says, I want to have a very bouncy board, fine, I'll build you a bouncy board. If Tony comes to me, because he's already complaining that my super stiff wooden board, that it's not stiff enough for his big waves, then I can make it even stiffer, I mean, you can always add glass, but you can also deal with wood. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's nice to hear. Job, we are almost at the end of the interview, but as you know, there are 6 questions that I ask everyone on the show.
Yeah.
So please answer the first thing that comes up to your mind. So,
I'll try.
The best board that you ever rode?
The best board that I ever rode, it's going to be my 10-foot. It's going to be my best board. I haven't ridden it yet, but I'll tell you how it goes.
Okay. Out of confidence for, already that is going to be a sweet ride,
it's going to be fine.
I like that. Favorite shaper of all time?
I don't really have a favorite shaper. I know board builders. I mentioned already a few. I think one of the guys that helped me when I started was a guy in the Netherlands, Ron Slotboom. He helped a lot. And in Belgium, you have a guy, maybe you've spoken to him as well, Angelo Mullenaar. He does ridiculous shapes, and he's a very good glasser. I don't know how you measure this, but if Superwolf is the best glasser, in the world, then Angelo is sort of the second best, and he's very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are guys who inspire me.
Okay.
Is that okay? Is that good for an answer?
There is no wrong answer. There is just like good ones. So, personal question: your favorite song or kind of music?
Well, my favorite band is the Beastie Boys. That's without a doubt.
Nice. Yes.
It's hip hop. They did some punk as well. They throw some rock in there, and a lot of people don't know, but they actually made some very jazzy, funky music as well, right? Which I enjoy.
Okay.
And depending on my mood in the workshop, I put on the one or the other.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good.
A favorite surf spot, if it's not a secret?
Oh, well, it's not it's there. I don't have secrets in that sense. Anywhere in Portugal or Spain is great.
Okay.
It's fine.
Favorite surfer of all time?
Ooh, if I see Kai Lenny surfing,
Yeah,
that's really impressive.
Yeah,
that is so impressive. That goes way beyond surfing, competition surfing, or big wave. He does everything. That guy is amazing.
He's a waterman, so it's...
Yeah, and he seems... you wonder if you see him surf, if he's ever scared or if he actually thinks about it. Of course he's scared. Everybody's scared, but he handles it very well. It's very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. The last question is a little bit unusual. I like to know your favorite, best relationship advice, where you can answer me romantic, friendship, relationship with the ocean, with the surfboard, if there is anything you want.
I think, and I'll refer to the Beastie Boys, just stay true to yourself, and you never fall, they rap, so it's just do what feels right and what you feel comfortable with, and then you'll be fine. I think
it applies to your craft as well, because if you stay true to yourself, you don't do compromise, you make sure only boards that are at the level they go out, that actually helps, right?
I think so, yeah. But it also helps with love life.
Yeah, of course, with everything. Cool. Thank you so much for being on the show with me today, and I look forward to talk to you very soon.
Yes, wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Job, it was super nice to talk to you. And
yeah, it's interesting.
Have a great evening. Ciao.
Stay safe. Yes, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Hi, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed our today's episode. If you want to know more about us, please follow www.thetempleofsurf.com and all our social media. Mahalo!